There's an absolute tidal wave of adoption coming for crypto. Today we have the first spot HBAR ETF going live. We have the BSOL ETF for Solana going live on the New York Stock Exchange. We've got a Litecoin spot ETF going live on the Nasdaq. We just had Solana announce that they are exclusively having Western Union on their platform. Let me pop up my screen real quick because I think it's kind of crazy. I see a lot of like prevailing narratives that, even in XRP land, and hey, maybe people are right. Maybe what's actually happening with stablecoins is all a lie and not actually occurring. But it seems to me that stablecoins are kind of winning a lot of the game as far as payments and settlements are concerned. And that doesn't mean that these native layer one assets like XRP or whatever other native layer one asset you want to talk about aren't going to be valuable and have utility. It's just to say that, like, come on, let's come up with some new narratives to spin to people, because it's very obvious that the stablecoin narrative isn't a narrative, it's actually happening. Western Union, the world's largest money transfer business, building exclusively on Solana. Now, of note here, Western Union did trial out XRapid and XRP back in 2019. Obviously, we've seen a lot of crypto changes and adoption and all sorts of different things since 2019. But essentially, Western Union teamed up with Anchorage to launch USDPT, which is a new stablecoin that they plan to launch in 2026. Western Union themselves, designed to be integrated into Western Union's network spanning 150 countries. Now, I'm not going to read the Wall Street Journal exclusive article because I don't like to read articles behind a paywall. But I do think it goes to show, hey, this crypto space has come quite a long way. When we talk about bridge assets, it's like, why would we go an additional layer of abstraction there and use a crypto asset that may be volatile? Why don't we just use something that's stable or a stable coin? And it's like, well, the crypto asset's actually going to have its price set to something. It's like, yeah, but the stablecoin's price is already set to something. So can we come up with something maybe a little bit smarter as a narrative? Anyways, now I don't want to, I'd be remiss if I said I'm still holding my XRP and still think that the XRP ledger has value and that XRP in and of itself is going to probably grow in value. I think that even Ripple at this point in time, which is nice to see, supporting something like the Evernorth treasury, alludes to the fact that maybe Ripple believes that XRP is going to grow in value, and some of these other entities that are supporting. That being said, I think that this bridge asset thing is like, yeah, maybe there's some examples where it still makes sense, exotic corridors, last mile type stuff, or maybe when real world assets are truly on chain, having a highly liquid asset, assuming that XRP grows in liquidity, makes sense for bridging between real world assets or whatever you might come up with. But at the end of the day, when we talk about like normal payments and settlements, like actually creating some more streamlined efficiencies in the traditional system, it seems like stablecoins are, at least in the short term, ruling the roost. This is huge. Hedera just made history, the first US spot HBAR ETF. Now, this is live and trading on the Nasdaq. This just happened today. This is after Bitcoin and Ethereum, Hedera joining the crypto ETF race. I would be remiss to say that Litecoin and Solana aren't also included. These are rolling out in tranches. So the SEC's approval of generic listing for standards for crypto that we saw in September allowed new funds to launch despite the ongoing government shutdown. So today, so it begins. A new wave of altcoin ETFs starting to trade, with the Bitwise Solana staking ETF launching on the New York Stock Exchange, as we mentioned, under the ticker BSOL. Canary Capital launching both a spot Hedera ETF and a Litecoin ETF, the first of their kinds, and certainly the first in the United States on the NASDAQ. While the government shutdown has delayed approvals, these funds opened the floodgates for more than 150 plus altcoin ETFs tracking 35 plus assets that are currently filed with the SEC. Again, the generic listing standards, et cetera, et cetera. So Huge. And interestingly of note, there are many more ETFs or financial products in general that are coming down the pipeline. So if you're not holding something like HBAR or Litecoin or Solana, worry not. Your crypto assets, I'm sure, are next in line. I should say, from my standpoint, not financial advice. I don't have a media partnership with anybody, but Genfinity, my company, has a media partnership within Hedera and some of these other layer one ecosystems. So make sure you're doing your own due diligence. Certainly not financial advice on anything from my regard, just telling you guys what happened. 13 ETF filings in the US, though, right now referencing Hedera on top of the first of which, so 12 more. The Canary ETF went live today. So XRP has tons. Solana, I'm sure, has tons, et cetera, et cetera. You can see it live right here on finance.yahoo.com/quote/HBR, which is the ticker. And just some interesting stats here. I think that the XRP Ray or Rex Osprey one, like a month ago, had like 100 million trading volume within a month or something like that. That might have been within a day. I'm probably wrong. Anyways, but for the BSOL one, the HBAR one, the Litecoin one, at halftime, which is half of the day of trading, BSOL at $33 million, HBR at $6 million, and Litecoin, the spot ETF, the LTCC ticker at 1 million. All right, I wanted to talk about this because I think that this kind of talks about, I guess, what I've mentioned multiple times, what I think Ripple is actually doing here. Ripple completes Hidden Road acquisition to become the first cryptocurrency prime brokerage owner. It's a $1.25 billion acquisition of Hidden Road, becoming the first crypto company to own a global multi-asset prime brokerage, marking a major milestone in the institutional arena of crypto adoption. You know, there's a lot of acquisitions that Ripple has been making recently, and we could go on and on about how they're leveraging XRP to do that and everything else. But I think, like I said, the Evernorth thing with kind of the XRP based treasury that has a lot of similarities, but some actually like native on chain stuff that was alluded to for the XRP ledger, which is Evernorth, I think is a very positive thing that you would want to see for a digital asset like XRP. But I think, again, when you get into what I feel like Ripple was doing here, obviously they're doing, they're getting into the stablecoin arena with Ripple USD. And that's certainly probably coming off the back end of number one. I'm sure they can make money from doing it. It's the most important thing. But number two, I'm sure that a lot of their clients have also asked for stablecoin, which essentially, again, kind of eliminates some of the narratives around what XRP was supposed to be used for before. But also the crypto space has changed a lot in the past handful of years. And it seems like Ripple is trying to actually get ahead of the curve, whereas before maybe they were restricted a little bit to innovate because of some of the SEC stuff. They've dove full on deep into the real world asset, whole digital economy arena. I think they've made time will tell, obviously, but I think they're making some really interesting acquisitions that seem to be smart. And it'll be interesting to watch where XRP actually plays a role without kind of the conspiracy-based speculation, but where it actually plays a role within some of these different products, where XRP actually sits in the middle of real-world assets after they're tokenized on chain. Again, like I'll say, I don't think that we need to like invent narratives at this point in time in 2025 for crypto, because I think the writing's on the wall for a lot of these networks and assets. And obviously, nothing's for sure set and certain. But at the end of the day, we are so much further ahead in 2025 than we were whenever I was like deep diving down rabbit holes in 2020, trying to like figure out if I could either A, dot connect things, or B, find information that nobody else can find, which successfully we did a lot of that stuff. And I still see a lot of that stuff being repurposed today under these crazy conspiracies like the Bank of Russia one that I posted a week or two ago. I'm like, that's a 2018 document that I found in 2020. And it's like, breaking. This 5-year-old thing is breaking. And here's the speculation around it. I don't think we need to do that anymore. I think there's enough actual adoption going on that we can be excited about. Again, on the stablecoin stuff, Chainlink announcing that they're a core ecosystem partner of ARC. Now, ARC is going to be a newly launched layer 1 blockchain by Circle, obviously USDC. Obviously, a lot of stablecoin aspects here as well. So again, I don't think that the stablecoin stuff that we're seeing is just like this flash in the pan thing. I will say stablecoins seem to be the evolution of CBDCs, and we're seeing a lot more talk on like actually like bank deposits, like tokenized bank deposits. Maybe that's the next iteration of stablecoins. I don't think that stablecoins like are like a fix to actual fiscal responsibility. Like even if it were like a CBDC, I don't think that's a fix. Just because you can like the dollar's already digital, and we're still in however many multiple trillions of dollars of debt. I think a stablecoin actually, if you can look at it the other way, and it accelerates the ability to do things inappropriately or to not manage fiscal policy efficiently, which is interesting. I did that interview with UZH, the head of blockchain at the University of Zurich, which is on Genfinity's X. You can go to @Genfinity. It's not Genfinity IO anymore. The handle on X is now just @Genfinity. But he was talking a little bit about some of the research that they're doing at Zurich with University of Zurich by kind of measuring out the economics that these crypto networks are divvying out, and measuring how long they can be sustainable and all sorts of different stuff. I'm rambling now. Anyways, Hedera Council member IBM also announcing their digital asset haven platform for banks, governments, and enterprises built in collaboration with DFNS HQ. Now, this is not a Hedera specific. This is multi-chain. However, there's some different tie-ins here. IBM's obviously a Hedera Council member, but this DFNS network architecture essentially connects like 40 plus blockchains with enterprise grade security. We did an article on it. It's just interesting to see these really big entities like IBM, who have obviously been like dipping their toes in blockchain and distributed ledger for a while, starting to actually, launch some stuff and integrate some stuff. So you can see the Hedera support right here on DFNS. Anyways, I think as we normally do, and then True Social partners with Crypto.com for prediction markets. So we obviously know what happened with Polymarket and how massive that got. I think, it'll be interesting to watch what happens with True Social too. But, I think we're still sitting in this kind of October. I know people say October where, stuff's going to start going to the moon, but that very obviously didn't happen. And I can't wait until October is October. Say that like 10 times fast. And hopefully I'll be able to make some more consistent videos this week. Was out for the tail end of last week and yesterday, with some family stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm sure it was rusty because you take a day or two off in this space and then you just end up being rusty. But anyways, HBAR spot ETF live in the United States is absolutely massive. Same thing with Litecoin spot ETF. Same thing with the Solana one on the New York Stock Exchange. Just because Western Union is exclusively on Solana doesn't mean XRP is dead. It just means that some of these people pushing or peddling narratives need to kind of update their narratives a little bit to what's maybe actually happening. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys when I talk to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.